The other one I want to talk about in that frame of being a team that missed finals last year that could bounce is the Crows.
Yeah, I like the Crows.
There's been a bit of noise about him, hasn't there?
Yeah. And I don't think it's just off the back of the Saints win. I think that
before that was,
they're a really weird one for me as a person who does draft, because I feel like their drafting has been probably what you would consider to be poor, but their recruiting off other teams has been outstanding. Like Jordan Dawson, what they've done with him, when you're talking about players that have come into the club and improved, to go in and become this all-encompassing centre bounce midfielder. They brought in James Peatling, Isaac Cumming. They just keep strengthening the side. There's a lot more. Ben Keys even back in the day, like a nothing pick from the Brisbane Lions. And I don't know, it just feels like every player they get like that turns into a bit of a superstar, at least in their position, not necessarily a global superstar in the game. I look at that forward line. Isaac Rankin, didn't mention him. Another player that came in.
Rankin, Neil Bullen, Cumming.
Neil Bullen's huge. Neil Bullen's huge.
He looks like the most impressive pickup that they got.
Yeah, he's like the ultimate glue guy. Like
so good.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know. So like, I don't see a lot of weaknesses in that team, and I think people forget
back six is a bit thin.
I think
don't
Worrell
think it
and
is.
Michael Annie competitors and a half.
Yeah.
Who is rolling as like their second key back?
So this is the thing. So Nick Murray is better than people think one-on-one.
Okay,
he's there, not as good, but he's their Wiedering, if you will. Like he's there.
Yeah. Okay.
They're chode.
And then what? Like is Keane as like a...
So this is the question I think for Adelaide, and definitely was the question for them in 2024. Who wins the ball back? Who's the shield? Because I think it can be Worrell, but he hasn't really put up numbers of the best.
I like Worrell.
I do as well. I think he can be that guy, and he can kick the football well as well, Worrell. So he can be your sort of interceptor, a bit of a distributor as well.
Michael Annie does a job as well down there.
Yeah, he's wicked as just like a small lockdown. He'll take those Toby Green types.
Yeah.
So I think that back six is better. I would say that if there's one position back there that they struggle in, a little bit on the same mould as Carlton that we talked about. Distributor,
That's
Wayne
where
Miller.
Wayne Miller, exactly. If he stays fit, he can kick the ball really well.
But will he stay fit? That's the...
Yeah, I don't know. He didn't do much. He was one I put in my super coach. I got called out for it, and he didn't do a whole lot the other week, but I like him. I
like him as well. He breaks lines. The one that I don't like back there, and I see him as this like old school halfback, is Rory Laird.
Yeah,
I like it.
Andy Munro's in the chat, and he just commented Laird is the distributor.
Yeah, but he sucks. He doesn't take off. He doesn't take off difficult kicks. He's just a ball retention guy. He just accumulates. I think he even lacks a little bit of physicality back there as well. I think his end to last season, 2024, was appalling. I think some of his efforts were really bad. And yeah, I just don't think he's got it.
So what's his spot in that Adelaide team? Or you don't think you don't?
I'd play him in the Sandford.
Wow.
Yeah.
Andy Munro, please.
Yeah, I don't see a place for him. I think I'd be getting someone in the team like a Nankervis, who's not playing at the moment. I think he's really athletic, can also intercept the ball a little bit. He's got a little bit more height. You could bring someone like an Oscar Ryan, who's
not too familiar.
I think he was taken in the 23 draft, maybe the 22 draft. But yeah, running halfback. Try someone like that just to get games into some younger players and rejuvenate, I think.
You have schooled me on Adelaide defenders. Thank you.
I feel like they would love to have like a Tom Duday there still. Or is Ball Ace still on the list? Like he comes in and he's a big athletic body, but sometimes it just looks a little slow. But
I think the three, like the perfect three for them, is Murray, Worrell, Keane. Right. As a three, and then like Butts as the backup.
Did you hear David King talking?
I think Butts has a bit. I reckon he could be...
I'd have him as just the next one.
I don't know. Keane... I don't know. He's been good, but
Keane's more versatile.
Yeah,
and
right.
I think when you look at opposition forward lines, the way they're evolving with like these smaller hybridy forwards, I think he's the one that can take those guys. Whereas like a Butts or a Ball Ace, they're more your big dogs. So if like it's matchup dependent, I think in a way. Like if you were playing Carlton with a Mackay and a Kernow, you'd probably go with one of those guys. Yeah.
I reckon for Adelaide, like the biggest thing is I feel like Jordan Dawson. He didn't have like a bad year last year, but it was a lot down compared to his year before.
For sure.
And I feel like if he's like rolling as good as he was the year before, it makes the rest of that midfield work so much better. Like.
For sure,
like he had a pretty good game on the weekend. It just makes like Isaac Rankin's job a little bit easier to go in as like a bit of pace, bit of class going forward. Like you just got Dawson taking those big marks, big tackles.
The thing with Dawson, I almost like him. a little bit on the Hawthorn mould here, but being able to use him as this like utility, I think is actually better than saying like you're just a centre bounce midfielder.
Yeah.
Like try to get. You obviously have. I think Adelaide have a bit of a weird situation with their ruck, and this is kind of like goes into a bigger conversation about their midfield as well. But they've got Riley O'Brien, right? Riley O'Brien as a ruck, he doesn't really do anything other than win hit-outs. He's good at that though. And then I think he activates. This is why Adelaide or Matthew Nicks plays Matt Crouch, because Matt Crouch is just a stoppage mid, right? He's a good hit-2 player, gets his hands on the ball, facilitates, creates for other players by hand. He's like not a meters gain guy. Those two kind of work together. And until Adelaide draft or recruit a ruckman that has more like athleticism, someone like a, Jackson-esque or a Rowan Marshall or a TDK or someone like that can get the ball on the outside, I think they'll continue with those two. So I guess like a wider conversation there is like the other players. I think you can afford with like having Crouch in there. I think Saligo's gone to another level.
Yeah.
He looks explosive this year.
He was like the only midfielder going at any sort of rates last year.
And then you can play like your defensive mid, you can play someone like a Peatling. Then you can run a Rankin through there as well. And then it affords you to maybe go like Dawson only does like 50% CBAs. And the rest of the time,
Deep forward, he's a Will Day vibe.
Well, a bit, yeah. So like create a mismatch in the forward line. He's such a good overhead mark. And then even flip behind the ball. Yeah. Win some ball off the back half and set up if you need to. And like game specific, if you're up, maybe he just goes behind the ball and just chops out a little bit.
So is Taylor Walker getting a game in your best Adelaide team as well?
He's tricky. He's really tricky.
I was going to come in with that. David King said move Taylor Walker to halfback.
Oh, that's...
I don't think he has the mobility. I don't think he has the mobility.
Fogarty,
he can kick the ball really well.
If you're looking for a distributor...
Yeah, but
why not? Give it a crack.
I mean, that's just like the whole bailout half back roll. Like, is he just going to absolutely do nothing when the ball's down there?
I don't know.
But when they've got the ball, he can kick it well for sure. But who is he going to run with? Like,
yeah,
David King said it. I think that's.
Yeah, no, I hear what he's saying, but I just think that's like such a cop out to make it 5 on 6.
Kingy does love to do chuck him in the back line. He did it. Who did it? He was massive on that with.
There was someone big last year.
Norton. He's always been on with Aaron Norton.
Yeah, I could sort of see that though.
Yeah,
he played his junior footy as like a key.
Yeah,
he got drafted as a key defender.
They're not like the worst shouts. He just says it a lot.
Just loves the swing, loves the change.
Loves the swing, man.
Andy Munro saying Tex won't defend anyone.
That's what I'm saying, Andy.
Well, I think he could cause Adelaide problems though when you play a Hawthorn who run the ball out of defence really fast. Like, is there enough pressure from Walker, Fogg?
Yeah, in the forward line.
And Thilthorpe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, who are their smalls rolling around? Like Pedler? Is Pedler? Oh, yeah, Rochelle. What's Pedler? He's like that high half.
He's not in the team at the moment. So Keys, Neil Bullen.
I like him, Pedler.
Rochelle is the deep, and then Rankin.
Neil Bullen, that's a good one, yeah.
Yeah, so they've got the high half forwards. I think you could do, if you wanted a like for like, they're probably like next man up's probably Nick Murray's brother. Toby Murray. Oh. They recruited him in the mid-season last year.
Wow. Wealth of knowledge.
Yeah.
For some reason, I know the Adelaide Crows well.
I'm smiling and nodding.
So he'd be next man up. I reckon you could...
Dan Curtin plays for the Crows, and he's a great player that we haven't mentioned.
He could be the player. He could be the player.
For the halfback?
For Walker. As a forward. Like, you could go Fogarty, Thilthorpe, and Curtin. Curtin's 197 centimetres.
He can play anywhere, Curtin, I reckon.
Yeah, he could. And again, you can use that, like to use Hawthorn as the model again. He could be your Sicily.
Yeah.
You guy that you're just flinging around. You got Dawson. And then the opposition's got so many problems to think about.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Curtin's a key position player.
No, but he's saying more like that third. I don't know anything about Dan Curtin.
He's just like a skillful, very athletic.
Do you need 3 key forwards? Like, I know it's most teams.
I wouldn't play Dan Curtin as a key forward.
I don't think you do need to answer that question.
I don't think you need it.
I don't think you need it.
No, I don't either.
I think teams are too confined by structure sometimes, or coaches are too confined. But they're like, okay, we have to have these 2 big pillars, otherwise we're going to get outmarked. But you can play around it, right?
Well, look, Collingwood won a flag with Myercheck and Jamie Elliott as their key forwards.
They just did it with Fritsch and
exactly.
Tommy.
I hate the copycat thing. It's like it works for one season.
Yeah.